What up? It's your boy Big Vern coming to you live from the App Stupid Studios. Act like you got some sense. Smash the like and subscribe button. Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday. Also, if you want to fund the madness directly, you see our socials at the bottom. Make sure you go ahead and follow us on those. And if you want to fund the madness directly, hit us up at the Cash App, $Vern dollars. Hashtag $Vern dollars. DOLLAZ. Busy Friday in sports. We got some firings. The 49ers, they agreed to release Steve Wilkes. The epic fallout from another Shana-SCAM Super Bowl. It's everybody's fault but his. High five him. Then you have Sean Elliott. He resigns from Georgia State, and he's likely to make a trip back to South Carolina and the Gamecocks. The good people of South Carolina. And then Ohio State, they fired Chris Holtman after 7 seasons. The Buckeyes, the good people of Columbus, they decided they didn't need to see anymore. And then a very tragic story out of LSU. Trey Holly is he was arrested for felony attempted murder. So we'll dive into all of those stories and many more when we come back from a quick 20. From an unofficial sponsor of the show, this is Big Vern at App Stupid. Planet Fitness, Big Fitness Energy. Visit your good folks down at your local Planet Fitness. Download the app. Planet Fitness, Big Fitness Energy. Okay, so we'll start with the 49ers and another Kyle Shanahan loss. Again, it's everybody's fault but his. This time they threw defensive coordinator Steve Wilkes under the bus. And the way they try to paint it up is that they mutually agreed to part ways. You know, that's political speak for somebody's head has got to roll, so it might as well be the lowest man on the totem pole. The San Francisco 49ers and Steve Wilkes have agreed to part ways, says Kyle Shanahan. He announced that it just ended up not being the right fit. Now, this is what Shanahan said. It was harder than it needed to be. So, I don't get that. It was harder than it needed to be. Now, make no mistake, they didn't lose this game because of defense. San Francisco's offense dried up. Nobody told him to take the ball in overtime and then use your defense that had been on the field for majority of the game and then try to go ahead and stop. I feel like one of the most prolific offenses in NFL history. And this is with your star linebacker hurt on a freak accident. Nobody told Kyle Shanahan to do that. But also, you asked this man to do a lot with less. And his defense was good enough to get you all the way to the Super Bowl. His defense helped stave off Green Bay from eliminating the San Francisco 49ers from the playoffs. His defense held up to a ridiculous Detroit Lions meltdown and held them in check and enabled San Francisco's offense to get going. Yes, he did dig a hole early, but he was able to get himself out of that. Again, it's everybody's fault but Kyle Shana-SCAM. And you blame the defense when you knew the defense was playing with a man down in a freak hammy accident. The offense sputtered out and disappeared, and that's Wilkes' fault. Again, just low class, and it's tacky. And then Kyle said, I thought they were one of the reasons we got this far. So if you think they're one of the reasons that you got this far in your defense, Why would you fire that person knowing that the star linebacker went down in a freak accident just trying to take the field? You self-knowingly said, I felt and I thought there was one of the reasons that we got this far, but we got to fire you. I thought they did a number of good things, but we got to fire you. These are Kyle Shanahan's words. They did a lot of good things in Sunday's game too, just like our team, but you fired this dude. Our team did a bunch of good things this year, but came up short in the last game. Okay? They didn't fire you. They didn't fire you. And by your own words, this guy, you felt like they were a big reason. His defense was a big reason that y'all made it as far as you did. And then you turn around and you fire this guy. But only then you sit here and double talk yourself and say, well, it was harder than it needed to be, but he did a good job. And I felt like the defense did a good job Sunday. Again, nobody can objectively look at that game and say that San Francisco's defense was a problem, because it wasn't. The defense actually did their job. The offense disappeared. Deebo Samuels basically was MIA. I mean, they held Kittles in check. McCaffrey didn't do much. I mean, you have to come up with innovative and different ways when they stop the thing that's working for you the most. I don't know. The 49ers seemingly regressed too much defensively under Wilks. They ranked number 1 in EPA per play in 2022 under Ryan before dropping to number 12 this season. Their run defense took the most severe tumble from number 2 down to number 26. This wasn't acceptable to Shanahan, especially since the 49ers maintained most of their key personnel between seasons and even added star defensive tackle Javon Hargrave. Now, this is coming out of The Atlantic, and David Lombardi and Amos Morrell III had written this article. And sometimes people can write themselves into figure eights, especially in this situation, because Kyle Shanahan, on one end, he's saying and he's praising Wilks, saying that Wilks did a good job. He felt like Wilks' defense really got them back to the Super Bowl. And DeMeco Ryan, you know, I think that's a straw man's argument, because you can say, oh yeah, DeMeco Ryan had us do X, Y, Z, but you only made it to the Super Bowl one time. Wilks comes in, the personnel changes, a couple of guys are still around, not all of them, rebuilt, and then you all still make the Super Bowl. And then Kyle Shanahan says, of his own words, I thought that the defense was a big part of the reason why we went back to the Super Bowl this year. But you fire this guy because you got to. Somebody's got to be held accountable. And it's not Shanahan. Even though Shana-SCAM has choked 3 Super Bowls away, once as a coordinator with Atlanta, and now 2 as a San Francisco 49ers coach. So it's always everybody's fault but the coach. But in this kind of sports culture and sports climate, we tell people that the buck stops with the head coach. The buck doesn't stop with the head coach, unless it's a coach you like. Because if it's a coach you like, you ain't going to say too much about it. But if it's a coach that you got it in for, you got an axe to grind, or you got a political agenda against this coach, then yeah, you're going to go ahead and bring up every reason to discount this man and try and get this man fired. But Steve Wilks shouldn't have been one of those guys. He shouldn't. Especially when you're telling me of your own words that you felt he did a lot of the good things this year. And they did a lot of good things Sunday. So why fire him? Double talk. Classless. And it's tacky. Shanahan believed that his team defensively was talented enough and the program structure strong enough and effectively integrated Wilks' defensive back coaching expertise. However, he proved to be clumsy, process, and evidenced by the 49ers' big regression in run defense. I don't know what they were looking at. And this is the problem when you have guys who are looking at the numbers versus guys who are watching the game. Because if you go back and you look at Sunday's game, Kansas City, and when it comes to the run game, Pacheco fumbled the ball and gave some of those away, to the point where I was sitting there and I was like, well, wait a minute, they got Pacheco's number. The run defense was amazing. They stopped Kansas City on the ground. To the point where the 49ers, they drew blood first. They put points on the board first. Kansas City wasn't able to run the ball like they wanted to until the third quarter. That's usually when guys start getting gassed. And if you wasn't going 3 and out, then you would give your guys a chance to catch their breath so they can possibly win this game. But again, where do you sit on that? Kyle Shanahan lying, coughing it up as usual. Now somebody's got to bear the brunt of this. It's going to be the defensive coordinator, the guy who just got here, the guy who I said I would thought that his defense was a big part of the reason that we got here. We got to get rid of that dude. Yeah, that dude. So, yeah, whatever. Like I said, this dude is a loser, and it's not going to be for too long. People actually wake up to the scam he's pulling on them, where he can win you playoff games. He'll win you the division, but he'll always find a way to lose the Super Bowl when it matters the most. And I stand by those comments. Kyle Shana-SCAM is this generation's Marv Levy of the Buffalo Bills. We'll be back. We keep on rocking. This is Big Vern at App Stupid.